Welcome to American Dreams, Keys to Success, with your host, Alan Olsen.
Welcome back. We're here today with Megan Lathrop. She's a money coach, certified financial planner, and also an author. Megan, welcome to today's show.
Thank you.
So, Megan, give us some of your background. How did you get to where you are today?
Sure, yeah. Well, I'd say it really did start with a leap of faith. Right out of college, I started working at a major firm as a financial advisor. And I knew I mainly just wanted to help people with things, with goal setting and giving them solutions without it being necessarily sales. So it turned out to be the financial world and financial services. So I've been in the financial industry since I graduated college.
And so if we go into the word money coach, I often don't hear that in the financial industry. So this is a unique position. Can you give me background? What exactly does a money coach do?
Sure, yeah. Well, one thing I found after maybe 6 or 7 years of being a financial advisor is the most valuable thing I was offering my clients was more the coaching aspect. And that's really helping clients keep their perspective around the markets. So whether it's helping them not operate out of fear or greed, but somewhere in between, or whether it's helping them keep their other emotions out of the markets, that coaching relationship is what really served them and what I felt I was more gifted at than maybe the technical side of the money management. So there's kind of an industry that's formed, and I've gotten certified as a money coach, and it's all about unpacking someone's beliefs, patterns, and emotions around money. And a lot of it comes from their childhood and how they were raised. So there's a lot of just unconscious behaviors really involved.
It must be a tough position when you see the market falling 200 points.
Yeah.
People on the phone saying, now calm down.
Right.
Everything's going to be fine. I mean, that doesn't, how do you maintain a cool in a volatile environment that we've been going through this last couple of years?
Yeah, it's tough. Well, for me, luckily, I have a belief, in a higher power and a bigger picture. That kind of is where I try to help people recognize their security really can come from. But it's tough. I'd say what's happened in the last decade, the different market cycles has really brought people to a more creative, I'd even say spiritual part of their life where they're really putting money in its proper place in their life. So I, believe it or not, have actually been grateful for some of the changes that have happened because it's helped us move away from so much about accumulation and even, so many crimes and things that have happened. And people have really kind of reset their perspective on it. So it's been tough, but I think it's kind of exciting what might come from this.
I think that is so true. You look at the media today, you hear about the fiscal cliff and where are we going as a country? And if you believe the reports, there's absolutely no foundation in life, because they're telling you that everything's going to stop.
Right. Yeah. Well, the world was already supposed to end.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Welcome to the new world, by the way. But as you walk through the process, and I think that having a foundation in life really is important.
Absolutely.
I was thinking about this new year. A lot of people are putting goals and stuff in place. And what are some of the things that you'd be walking your clients through at this time?
Sure. Well, a lot of people have kind of what I've been calling like post-holiday blues and debt syndrome. They've overspent during the holidays or they've spent outside of their means because of our culture of gift giving. So I actually just wrote an article for a magazine on how to get yourself kind of out of that debt and realigned for the new year and maybe have some new spending habits and kind of a more intentional relationship with your finances.
So do you find your clients are typically older, younger? I mean, are you generation focused into a certain segment?
Yeah, I have a whole range. I mean, I have a heart for working with women in their 20s and 30s just because I really want to empower women, and I've seen such value in people starting to invest young, right out of college. It makes a huge difference in their financial life, just having that information early. But I'm also, since I work here in Silicon Valley, I have a lot of clients that either have sold a business or inherited money at a later stage in their life. So I enjoy really working with, people into their 50s and 60s too that are kind of in that final stage before retirement.
When should a person come to a money coach?
The earlier the better. I would really say, after someone graduates college and is on their own with money and responsible for themselves and their bills, I think that's a key time to kind of take a look at your habits around money and try to start forming some healthy ones that are going to serve you for the rest of your life.
Is it? Are you able to help all people, or is there a certain person that you're able to help more?
I can help people that are open a lot more. One of the struggles I face as a coach is we all focus so much on returns, and how much our portfolio is giving us in return, and that's a huge part of what I do like to help people with. But I consider it only half of kind of the whole picture, and the other half is kind of the soft side of their, things I've mentioned, their emotions and patterns and how they act around money. So if someone's not too open to that, it's a little bit harder to really give them a holistic service. But I found I really enjoy having, a conversation with anyone to at least, bring some more awareness or bring some, insight.
Okay. I'm visiting today with Megan Lathrop. She's a money coach, certified financial planner, and an author. And Megan, I'd like to go more into more depth, but we need to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these messages.
Protecting your family's health and welfare is a sacred trust. At Greenstein Rogoff Olsen Company, we know that sound financial planning will protect them now and in the future. We're certified public accountants with tax services for the highly successful. For your business and your family, call GrowCo.
Greenstein Rogoff Olsen Company will help you manage your financial affairs so you can focus on what's really important in life.
GrowCo, helping you along the way.
Apple pie, baseball, and now here's All-American Alan Olsen.
Welcome back. I'm visiting here today with Megan Lathrop. She's a money coach, financial planner, and a book author. Megan, before the break, we're talking about your background and what a money coach does, but can you differentiate for me, what is the difference between a money coach and a financial planner?
Yeah, sure. Well, a financial planner focuses, what they do have in common, I guess, would be looking at someone's big picture around money and their long-term and short-term goals and kind of really creating a game plan for someone and helping them identify their priorities. But where more the money coaching relationship comes in is kind of where psychology comes into the picture. And it's about helping someone look at kind of where they came from around money. One thing maybe I'll mention around the psychology is that most of our beliefs around money are shaped before we're 6 years old, before we even really know what money is. So we kind of just inherit a lot of the ways our parents, for better or for worse, or whoever our primary caregivers were, how they engaged with money. So money coaching kind of brings in this whole other level of, are you frugal? Are you generous? Are you disciplined? Are you, being timely with your bills? Kind of all those lots of different traits like that really, I think, impact someone's relationship to money. I think over the long run, I think I mentioned earlier, if someone gets 8%, 9%, or 10% of their returns from their portfolio, that's one thing. But what's really going to make a difference in their overall life contentment and satisfaction, and actually what will determine if they fulfill their financial goals, comes down to the things that I believe I talk to people about in money coaching.
It's interesting. You're talking about values when you're a child. When I was younger, my parents got me a coin collection.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a book full of pennies. And they said, you got to get every single year. So I started walking around to everybody I knew. I said, can you open your wallet and show me your coins? And my mom had to take me back and say, Alan, you cannot ask people to open their wallets and take their money from them. And I said, okay. So I was taught at a young age the etiquette of coin collecting.
Right. So. Well, you're very outgoing, it sounded like, as a kid.
let's move back on topic here. The future of the financial industry. We got all sorts of, you listen to the paper today, massive debt, volatility in markets. Are we or are we not going to have Social Security? And so as you sit with your clients today, how do you advise them?
Well, one of the main things is about being proactive and intentional. So as you just kind of alluded to, we can't really any longer, especially people of my generation, count on Social Security or even pensions. We're responsible for our financial lives. Whether it's investing in our 401ks or other long-term investments, it's up to us. So I would say we kind of start there with, how can I empower people around their relationship with money? And a lot of it is education. One thing that is surprising is so many people that are very savvy in many parts of their lives aren't as maybe savvy or informed when it comes to really what they need to be doing for themselves financially to have the peace of mind that they might want to have in their life.
Putting accountability into a process is so important.
Yeah.
And I can see the value in having a money coach.
Right. Yes, accountability is a huge piece.
Do you set goals for your clients of saying, how much savings you want to put away and have them come back and report?
Yeah, we have check-ins. It's usually once a month. I have different kind of relationships I have with each client, but usually we check in at least once a month. And just as financial planning is a process, money coaching is a process and kind of a relationship. Because, people have things come up all the time that change things. They begin a relationship or end a relationship or have a child or they're ready to start saving for college goals. So there's kind of constantly something to be engaging on and planning around and anticipating. So it's a pretty ongoing relationship.
Do women invest differently than men?
I have found that they do, yes, and hopefully it's okay that I say that, being that I am a woman. My experience has been that women can tend to invest more emotionally than men. I think a strength men have in the markets is there's some more of an objective approach, and some studies have just shown that women, from being that psychologically a lot of our security comes from things outside of us, like finances and how we feel. If we feel comfortable financially, we can tend to make decisions a lot more emotionally around money.
Megan, we need to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these messages, and I want to get a little bit more into the psychology, how you deal with your clients, and maybe we can talk about the emotional versus objective side of investing. We'll be right back after these messages.
Nothing's more important than spending time with your family.
At Greenstone Rogoff Olsen Company, we're trusted advisors to the highly successful. Our goal is to help you find the right strategy to protect your wealth for yourself and those you love. Kids, why do I feel like I've just had an audit?
As trusted advisors to the highly successful, we'll make sure that you don't lose your shirt.
Roco helping you along the way.
Apple pie, baseball, and now here's All-American Alan Olsen.
Welcome back. We're here today visiting with Megan Lathrop. She's a certified financial planner, a money coach, and an author. Megan, before the break, we got into the psychology of investing. Now, I got a case study. I got to run this by you. Okay, I'm a CPA. I don't do investment advice or this aspect, but from time to time, I'll get people walking into my office. One day, I had a 102-year-old mother, and her daughter drove her up. They're 82 years old, and they said, we need to come do some estate planning. Mom was worth about $3 million, $2 million in cash, and then $1 million in property, real estate, and stuff like that. And so sitting him down, I said, well, tell me what you want to talk about today. He said, well, we're afraid about giving all this money to the government when Mom passes, and so we'd like to do some planning in advance. And I said, okay, do you want to do big gifts or small? Mom says, let's start small. So I said, well, at that time, there was a $10,000 exclusion. I said, we can give to daughter. And Mom looks at me and she says, if I did that, what would I have to live on? Okay, psychologist,
Right.
money coach. How would you deal with these people?
Yeah, well, Alan, that's actually a really perfect example of how we all are. We have these beliefs around our relationship to money from when we were younger, and it really doesn't matter how much money we come into or what the actual reality is of our finances, maybe what dollar amounts in our checking account. The hard wiring in our brains is still whatever it was from when maybe that particular person had a lot more of a fear-based relationship with money and experienced a lot of lack and was afraid she wasn't going to have enough. So that's a perfect example of how that doesn't change unless you make a really conscious effort to kind of become congruent, really is probably the word, with what's your current day reality and how you respond to things. So that's a perfect example of why you can't really go much further. I mean, I would be curious, were you able to give them any advice, or did it kind of stop there?
It stopped there. There's a reason why people accumulate and build their little empires, because they've adopted a certain methodology,
Right.
And sometimes change doesn't come easy. There was another guy that I met, and see, the reality is, at some time in life, people are going to realize you don't take it with you.
Right.
Okay. Another guy back in the 40s, he invested in $10,000 investment in UPS. Okay, and by the time that he was ready to pass, that had gone to some $11 million.
Oh, wow.
And he wrote specifically in his will, he says, "I never want anybody to ever sell UPS." Well, the people came in, the heirs, and they said, "Well, Dad," it was an uncle in this case. They said, "You're going to be dead. We think we're going to do something else." And the uncle was emphatic. He says, "Never sell, never sell." And the reality is he passed, the stock was sold.
Right.
So
yeah.
I think having money coaches in place grounds people to look, guys. I see a lot of different perspectives in life. And let me share with you something. I mean, it's invaluable what you do there.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah.
So I want to switch over, though. Let's talk about magazine. You're writing for a magazine now?
Yeah. Well, I'm contributing to a magazine called Deliberate Life, and it launches later this week. And it's all about what we've really been talking about, conscious choices and having a deliberate lifestyle. So a huge part of that is obviously our spending. We spend money every single day. We invest in companies every day if you're invested. So how can we be deliberate about that and conscious about that?
Is there is there a difference between spending habits and people?
Yeah, well, there's the basic thing of some people would say you could be divided into spenders and savers, and from a psychology perspective, I mean that's where money therapy really comes into play, because in relationships, oftentimes, say in a marriage or even a family, two people don't have the same relationship to money. So it can be...
That must get kind of testy sometimes.
Yeah, it can bring up a lot of conflict, or I like to think of, that as growth opportunities.
Yeah.
And so I really view money as our opportunity for growth. And it's really a tool to help us transform and become more the person that we want to be. And how we spend our money, and kind of if we look down at our checkbook, is a real testament of where our values are.
So when two people are coming together in a marriage or a long-term relationship, do you advise that one person have accountability for the other?
It depends. Some people have different degrees of boundaries.
Okay.
Some people that I've coached come in and they want to treat their money totally separately, and they find that works best for them. And some merge, fully, and maybe to the extent of maybe too much, where it's just fully merged and there's not a sense of empowerment for either person. So it's really finding what works for each couple and then helping them set that up. A small little strategy I've done with a lot of clients that I've heard has saved marriages is the man is maybe an entrepreneur and it has a lot higher of a risk tolerance and is starting different companies and things like that. Just in some of the examples, this isn't always the case. The woman would like a little bit more stability. So by us setting up for their relationship a checking account that the woman has access to that always has at least a particular balance, maybe it's $3,000 or something, that gives her the peace of mind that things are going to be okay. And she's then able to support her partner kind of going off and doing some more kind of aggressive, riskier moves with his career. So there's little strategies like that are that make all the difference so that the couple can be working together and growing closer rather than, money is a number one cause for divorce and ended relationships. Mm-hmm. So I just have a real heart for bringing in some of these strategies so that the people are truly partnering and working together and making each other's life better because of the way they're interacting around money with each other.
So when you're chatting with the individuals, do they come in as couples? Do you have both there?
Oftentimes one person comes in first. There's usually one person in the couple who's more interested in that. And then once we meet, they do decide to bring in their spouse or partner and we work together. Yeah.
It's interesting over the years in our CPA practice, we see lots of different stories. But I certainly agree. The number one cause for divorce today is money. Mm-hmm. It's how people handle this.
Yeah.
But I need to move quickly. You're doing a book.
Yes,
I am.
I'm writing a book called The Savvy Gal's Guide to Money and All That Matters. And it's a book for probably its target audience will be women in their 20s and 30s. And that I'm passionate about women that are, savvy and have passions and have a career they, are passionate about and want to make a difference in the world. And it's basically a merging of technical financial advice, psychology, and spirituality, and kind of how to engage with money, bringing in kind of all those parts of yourself.
It's changed over the years, hasn't it?
It's changed a lot. Absolutely. I think it's kind of a cutting edge time right now for women, for investing. I mean, if we think even just 50 years ago, I mean, not everyone invested in the stock market. I mean, that was kind of more of an elite thing to do. And now you just start your first job and you sign up for your 401k into the stock market. So
Is the stock market still a good place to be?
Yeah, I believe in the future of the economy and the future of us as a globe. But I think it's definitely important to be taking it, managing your risk and managing what your exposure is to, and having things, if something is something you want to have for sure in the next couple of years, I wouldn't say to put it in the stock market.
Megan, how does someone contact you for more information on money coaching and financial planning?
Yeah, well, my website's my name, meganlathrop.com, and I have a Facebook page called Live Free, so it's just facebook.com/Your Money Coach.
Megan, we appreciate you being on today's show.
Thank you.
We'll be
pleasure.
right back after these messages.
You're listening to American Dreams with Alan Olsen on AM 1220 KDOW.